So hello and good morning students. Welcome to Math 09. It's all about assessment and evaluation in mathematics. So this is my final demonstration. So by the way, I am your discussant for today's topic. So I am Girl Justin Bigapor, 1 years old, and I am the second year student. My course and my major is based to mathematics, and my school address is GHCC main campus. So for more queries, if you have any questions, you can reach out me in my Facebook account, Carol Justin Bigapor. So before we begin for our discussion for today, may I call somebody to lead a prayer? Miss Bustamante, will you please lead a prayer? So before I will present my virtual classroom rules, so let's have an attendance first. Will you please open your camera and say present if you are present. So Raymond Belchar, Bustamante Crystal May, Kamaswela Lina May, Kapadngan Jimar, Kulot Arshel Joy, Duwaling Nieka, De Los Pobres Gian Talo, Flores Ronibel, Guevara Genesis, Lauganas Zedrex, Libatog Charity Faith, Octaviano April Faith, Palangpangan Carlo, Pepito Almeljoy, Pinky Angie May, and Severino Ivy. So wow, that's wonderful that you are present for today, and I am very glad because you are present, and I hope for 100% cooperation. Okay, so this is my virtual classroom rules. So number 1, I will treat you with respect. So this is our virtual classroom rules. So number 1, I will treat you with respect. So we'll know how to treat me. Feel free to do anything that doesn't cause a problem for anyone else. If you cause a problem, I will ask you to solve it. If you can solve the problem or choose not to, I will do something. What I do will depend on the special person and the special situation. If you feel something is unfair, whisper to me, I'm not sure that's fair, and we will talk. So that's our virtual classroom rules for this discussion. So I want you to remember, this will remember me, what was our previous lesson all about? So class, will you please answer what was our lesson all about? Miss Raymond Beltiar, will you please share your ideas about our previous lesson? Okay, thank you, Mr. Beltiar. So, do you have any other questions or clarifications regarding to our previous lesson? Okay, so for this none, so there's none. So let's move on to our next topic or our new topic for today's discussion. So, what do you call to these given pictures? May I call Jinami Pinkian about some insights or ideas on the given pictures. Okay, thank you. So this pictures is related to ratio and proportion. So what is ratio and proportion? What is ratio all about? Or how we can solve ratio and proportion, or how we can identify ratio and proportion. So when we say ratio, so this is the definition 3.1. When we say ratio, it is a comparison of two or more quantities or magnitudes of the same kind in the same unit. So note, the ratio of one quantity A to another quantity B is usually denoted by A is to B, or E over B, or B is not equal to 0. So A and B are called terms of the ratio. The first number A is called a antecedent, and the second number b is called consequent. Number 2. The ratio of A to B is written as any one of the following forms. A is to B read as the ratio of A to B or simply A is to B. And A over B is read as A over B or B not equal to 0. And number 3, A plus B or read A divided by B, or it can be read as A divided by B provided B is not equal to 0. While comparing two quantities in terms of ratio, one must bear in mind the following. So this is the thing that we need to bear in mind, that the two quantities must be same kind. So we should put in our mind that when we say ratio, it always talks about the quantities of having the same kind. For any two quantities, A and B, or A is to B is not equal to B is to A. So ratio have no unit. So when you say ratio, it is not it never had its own unit. It is simply a number. The units of measurement of two quantities must be the same. And the last, in most cases, the ratio A is to B is written in simplified form where A and B are natural numbers. So now let's move on, or let's apply in ourselves, or let's have some example on how we are going to identify ratio. Okay. So example 1. Who wants to write down the ratio of the first number to the second one in the simplest form? May I call Genesis Guevara? Okay, thank you for your wonderful answer. So here is the solution for the given situations. So solution A, the ratio of 70 to 210 is equal to 70 over 210 is equal to 70 times 1 over 70 times 3. So the question is, sir, where do you get those 70 times 1 over 70 times 3? Actually, 70 times 1 is the result of, when we're going to multiply it, it results into 70. And when we say where we get this 70 times 3 is, it is the result of 210 when we are going to divide to 70, or we are going to multiply 70 times 3 is equal to 70. So it's just being simplified. So cancel out 70 and the remaining will be 1 over 3 or 1/3. So it is equal to 1 is to 3. So the ratio of 70 to 210 is 1 is to 3. Excuse me. So in letter B, the ratio of 48 to 244 is equal to 48 over 244 is equal to 4 times 12 over 4 times 61 is equal to 12 over 61 is equal to 12 is to 61. And letter C, the ratio of 90 to 180 is equal to 90 over 180 is equal to 90 times 1 over 90 times 2. When we have the product of 90 times 2 is equal to 180. 90 times 1 is equal to 90. Then it is equal to 1/2. So our ratio of 90 to 180 is 1 is to 2. And letter D, the ratio of 48 to 108 is equal to 48 over 108 is equal to 12 times 4 over 90 times 2. So the result is 4 over 9 is equal to 4 is to 9. Okay. So next is we're going to identify what is proportion. So when we say proportion, it is a relationship between two quantities or variables in which one is a constant multiple of the other. In general, proportion can be defined as follows. So a proportion is the quality of two ratios. So we must note that when we say proportion, if A, B, C, and D are four non-zero rational numbers such that E over B is equal to C over D, then A, B, C, and D are said to be terms of the proportion. Thus, a proportion is an equation that shows the equality of two ratios. And number 2, the terms A, B, C, and D are so called the first, the second, the third, and the fourth terms of the proportion respectively. And in number 3, the proportion A over B is equal to CD can be written as A is to B is equal to C is to D. So here's A and D are said to be end terms or extremes, while B and C are said to be the middle terms or means of the proportion. So in a proportion, the product of the means equals the product of the extremes. This product is called the cross product of a proportion, or the cross multiplication of a proportion. That is, if A over B is equal to C over D, or A is to B or C is to D, then A times D is equal to B times C. So if we are going to analyze, the result must be the same of the given two ratios. So the cross product can be shown diagrammatically as shown in the adjacent figure. So as you can see in the figure, it gives us the clear expectation or clear ideas how we are going, or what is the how we are going to identify if that ratio is proportion. So number 5, one way to determine whether two ratios form a proportion is to find their cross product. So when we're going to find the proportion of the two ratio, we must first perform the cross products. If the cross products of the two ratios are equal, then the ratios form a proportion. So let's have an example for us to understand deeper what is, or how we are going to identify a ratio if it is a proportion or not. Okay, example 2. Who wants to determine whether each pair of ratios forms a proportion or not? May I call Arshel Joy Kulot to share your ideas to us on how you are going to identify if that ratio forms a proportion or not. Okay, thank you, Miss Arshel Joy, for your nice answer. So here is the solution for that. So in solution A, so 32 over 160. So what we are going to do is we are going to cross multiply it to 1 over 5. So 32 times 5 is equal to 160 times 1. So 32 times 5 is equal to 160 is equal to 160. So therefore 32 over 160 and 1 over 5 from a proportion, because I form a proportion. I'm sorry, it is form a proportion because the cross products are equal. So as we read the definition of proportion, that to determine a proportion, we must put ourselves in mind, or we must put in our mind that a proportion must have an equal product. Okay, or an equal result. So letter B. So in the situation letter B, so what we are going to do is the same. We are going to just write the cross product. So 5 times 64 is equal to 16 times 20. So 5 times 64 is equal to 320, and 16 times 20 is equal to 320. So therefore 5 over 16 and 20 over 24 form a proportion because the cross products are equal. Okay, so for our skill practice, let's solve the following situations. It has the items to 1 to 5. So number 1, may I assign Raymond Belchar. Number 2, may I assign Crystal May Bustamante. And in number 3, may I assign Genesis Guevara. Number 4, Jeremy Pinkian. And number 5, Charity Faith Libatog. So I will give you 5 minutes to answer those given situations, and I am going to ask for your answer a little while. Okay, shall we start? Okay, thank you for your different answer, and different ideas on how you are going to determine the proportion and on how you're going to determine the ratio. Okay, so solution number 1. So the ratio of 132 to 88 is equal to 132 divided by 88 or over 88 is equal to 44 times 3 over 44 times 2 is equal to 3 over 2. So the ratio of 132 to 88 is 3:2. And letter B, the ratio of 2,250 to 2,000 is equal to 2,250 over 2,000 is equal to 225 over 200. So what we're going to do is we're going to simplify first. And next, 25 times 9 over 25 times 8 is equal to 9 over 8, or the ratio of 2,250 or to 2,000 is equal to 9:8. So in letter C, the ratio of 6,500 to 3,500 is equal to 6,500 over 3,500. So what we're going to do first is when we are going to encounter this kind of numbers or this kind of real numbers, let's put in our mind first that we are going to simplify first. So the simplification of 6,500 is 65, and the simplification of 3,500 is equal to 35. So 65 over 35 is equal to 5 times 13 over 5 times 7 is equal to 13 over 7. So the ratio of 6,500 to 3,500 is equal to 13:7. And the letter D, the ratio of 1,540 to 1,100 is equal to 1,540 over 1,100 is equal to 154 over 110 is equal to 22 times 7 over 22 times 5. So the answer or the solution of number 2 to number 5 is given on the on our screen. So just log out and just compare your answer. Okay, so shall we move on to our next discussion or to our next part of our discussion? So in generalization, ratios are numbers that express rates. It shows the comparison of two quantities. So as we tackled a while ago, when we say ratios, it mainly talks about the two quantities with a comparison of the same kind. And when we say proportion, on how we're going to find the proportion, we must put first in our mind that it has an equal result. Okay, next. So here is our evaluation. So I am going to give you enough time to answer this. It has 3 items, 1 to 3, and I hope you will pass and submit it tomorrow morning at exactly 8 a.m. So here is your assignment for today's discussion, and I hope you will answer it faithfully. So solve the following and supply the correct answer. So are there any clarifications or questions, students? Okay, so if there's none, thank you and goodbye.